Hello everyone, it's Callie for Callie's Collectibles, and for today's review, carrying on Predator Month, I am going to be taking a look at a slightly more obscure character, a character called the Spike-tailed Predator. Now, this one is by Neca Toys. They're the best Predator figures you can get on the market at the moment, I might add. It's a redo of an old Kenner toy, the Spike-tailed Predator that came out in the 1990s, I do believe. It was part of the Alien vs. Predator range. It's certainly an interesting figure, I can say that. Because of its original toy nature of it, there are some things that haven't translated very well. The backstory's kind of cool. It's a predator who is essentially hunts cybernetic life forms, and he is actually cybernetic himself, which is a big no-no to the predator. He's got a cybernetic hand, he's got a breathing mask, he's got all sorts of things going on with him, but we will take a look at that in just a minute. First of all, I would like to show off the accessories. First of which is this very lovely biomask. As you can see there, it does have a very thin, right where my fingernail is, orange visor that runs through there, but it's very hard to see. That's the inside details of the mask. Best you can make it out with my lighting at the moment. I need to work on a better lighting rig. So yeah, that's the biomask that it comes with. It also comes with the one accessory that if you are a collector of Predator figures, you will have seen thousands of times. I've probably got about 10 of these in various paint schemes and colours. But it's a pretty standard Predator Shuriken. He does have a hand for holding that. I will show that off in a minute. And then he comes with his shoulder cannon / arm mounted cannon. Again, I will show this feature off when we get to the figure itself. But as you can see, it's a very nicely done piece. Lots of coppers and silvers. It is articulated. You can bend it down there, like so. And it does also rotate slightly at the bottom, as you can see there, ever so slightly, but you can actually slide this portion down to the bottom, and then you get rotation at the top. So you can have it like a standard backpack and shoulder cannon, or you can have it as an underslung arm cannon, which again I will show off in a minute. Don't get ahead of me. You'll see this in a minute. Right. So for the figure himself, bring his arm down. Oh, yes, mine is slightly broken. I twisted the arm to use the rotation, and that joint popped off inside. But if I just push it on, it stays in place. But looking at the back of the figure first, so we can do the reveal for the face in a second, you've got this lovely long plaited dreadlocks that the Predators have that ends in this massive spiked ball. Look at that. Really cool, that is. He's got a nice greenish coloured armour. It doesn't show up very well on the camera, but there you go. And a non-removable net launcher there. I think that's what that's meant to be. It looks like a net launcher, but it is non-removable. It is actually attached to the belt. Sorry, I turned off my notifications. I don't know why that's making a sound. There's that arm. There's that arm. Oh, there's the cybernetic hand I was on about. You can see that quite well. Now for the face of this character. He does not look like a traditional Predator because he's got a breathing mask over where his mandibles would be. So There you go. Take a look at that head sculpt. The paint job is phenomenal. I love these little horns here. I love this little attention to detail on the figure. And you can see down the chest armor, he's got a few cybernetic bits and pieces that he's took from trophies, like Terminator fingers right there. And you can see he's got like sort of hydraulic armor on his legs. Same on the back here. And he's even got some Terminator bits and pieces on his toes, see? Check that out. Anyway, articulation on this guy. Again, like a lot of Neca Predators, this is where some of the figures do suffer. The more streamlined Predators, like the Jungle Hunter, the City Hunter, who have got less armor, tend to be better articulated. And it's purely because there's nothing getting in the way. With guys like this, there's just so much going on. It's so... Hold it at the bottom. It's so busy. There's so much going on around here that it's just... You lose some of the articulation, unfortunately. And some of the articulation that's here in this guy, I don't know whether it's a widespread thing or it's just my copy. But as you can see, moving him around, his legs, his thigh joints especially, are super stupid floppy. Even his upper torso joint is a bit floppy. So as much as I like this figure, it definitely loses a lot of points for me due to just the poor execution on the articulation more than anything else. And I know they're using standard parts and standard articulation, but for a character like this, I think they needed to do a little bit of re-engineering and just move joints to different places to get the same kind of level of movement. That's all I'm saying. I get it would be more expensive, but when you're paying around 30 quid for these guys, an increase of say £10 just to do that, move the joints around a bit, I wouldn't complain. I mean, you pay 60, 70, sometimes even up to £100 for import collector figures that are the same size as these guys, and sometimes not even as well painted and well sculpted and articulated. So, you know, I wouldn't complain if they charged extra to make it better. But that's a conversation for a different day. Anyway, this guy, articulation, you've got a ball joint at the head, but due to this big, long, spiked tail, as you know, where the name comes from, you don't get much out of it. You get about that. You don't really get much up and down, and that's it. The one cool thing though is there is a bendy wire in the tail, so you can actually kind of flex it around to make it like he's swung his head and it's coming round at someone. Arms will go this side because I have to deal with this side differently. I will show you why. This side goes that far forward before things get caught up. Oh. Move that tail. Oh wait, you can actually with this side get almost a full 360 before things start getting caught up and knocked about. This is connected to his arm, so you only get that far out, and that from there to there is pretty damn ridiculous, really. You do get bicep rotation, you get double joints on the elbows, so you can get the hands that far up. It's the same pretty much on the other side, but because this shoulder piece is even bigger, that's as far as you were going. Still got double joints, still got the bicep swivel, and still goes all the way around. You do have an upper diaphragm joint up here, so you get a little bit of tilt. I mean, a little bit of tilt. You get that far forward, that far back. The waist is on a ball joint, so that can also shift a little bit forward and backward, give you a little bit of tilt, but it is definitely more there for rotation. But with all the armor and everything, you're not going to get much out of it. Honestly, you're not going to get much out of this joint here. Legs, as floppy as they are, go that far forward, and that's when it finally holds a pose. That far back, but the rubber they've used for his butt cheeks actually just causes that to spring back down. So back is useless, especially if you've got loose joints like mine. Now, out to the side, you're only getting that far. And it's the same both sides because he's got little armour pieces that stick out and these armour pieces here. So you're not getting much there. You do, thankfully, slight saving grace I suppose, get a double jointed knee, which you get that much range of motion out of. Drop that back down. And the feet, again, with this big chunk of armour on them, and they're on ball joints, you get that much down, that just level up, and tiniest amount of tilt. So that's it. Now, as for the features with this and the rest of his accessories, let's go through that now. You'll see on his back, there's this tiny little hole right there, okay? And there's a little peg on that. Now, you plug that into there. There is a specific way for it to sit. You just got to kind of line it up and hope for the best. You then, oh wait, I've done this wrong, hold on, sorry. You have to push that bit down first and then connect it to the backpack. Right, like so. Then you can aim this down. She says, rotate that around, and there you go. You have Spike Tail with his shoulder cannon on the go. But if you don't like that, you can take it, straighten it out, pull that along, and on the underside of this arm there is another tiny little hole. Get my face out of the way. There's another tiny little hole right there. Same peg. Plug into that hole there if you can. It fits better in this one than it does in the backpack. I find when you put it in the backpack, slightest knock and it falls off. Whereas you put it under his arm and you've got a much more stable connection. So there you go. And the original toy, I believe, did have that as a feature. So I never had the original Spiketail. I had a couple of the original Predators, but not this one. I had the original Lava Planet Predator, and I've got the remade one of that, which I will take a look at in my next review. But this guy I never had as a kid. I had the Clown Leader, the Lava Planet, the Renegade, and I've got the redone versions of those now as well. We'll put the biomask on while we're here. It's dead easy. You just line it up and click it on. And there you go. Now, as for the Shuriken, there are two places you can put this. There's this little tiny notch. I don't know how well that's going to come across on camera. There's a little tiny notch right there where my fingernail is now. That notch there. You can take this. You take the very bottom edge of it, and you just slide it into place, and there you go. You can have it sitting on his shoulder like so. I think that looks quite cool. Or you can take it out of his holder, place it in his hand, dead easy, just same principle, just feed it in. And there you go. He's all armed up and ready to fight. Now, because of the loose joints, getting this guy to stand can sometimes be a bit of a pain. But as you can see here, he's standing fine. But just be wary that if you do have a predator figure with loose joints like this one, it is best to get them into a standing pose and leave it at that. You won't get many action poses out of these guys for like things like photographs, because they just will not stand up. Okay? Anyway, that was my look at the Neca Predator. The Neca Kenner-inspired spike-tailed predator. There we go. I finally got through it. Yay me. But thank you for watching this review. My next review, as I said earlier, is going to be the Lava Planet Predator. That will be on Monday now. So thank you for watching. Hope you continue to watch my channel. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that really cool stuff. And I'll see you next time. Mwah. Bye-bye.